Hi, and welcome to something once again. Some Ayurvedic perspectives, some modern science, but all to deal with Ayurveda. Often, Ayurveda has been discussed in the light of heavy metals. There are two broad perceptions. One driven by modern medicine, which says that heavy metals are all poisonous, whereas what are certain about them, I'll pick a little later. And another broad perception by Ayurveda, the traditionalists, which says that heavy metals are not poisonous and they can be consumed as long as you want. Fair and square, there are two things. One, what is the role of heavy metals in the body? And why do these two perceptions both remain challenged? And what is the actual ground where they both get defeated? So, the first idea of heavy metals being poisonous is when it is indiscriminate, it is poisonous. However, as part of many multivitamin supplements or many multivitamin recommendations, a lot of these heavy metals are given, are consumed in very small quantities, and those quantities are essential for the body because certain metabolic pathways need to be helped because of their presence in the body. And the food that we consume normally in regular appetite does not fulfill for many of these depending on the geography where we live. At the same time, if I look at the Ayurvedic perspective, it goes by the same logic, and the method of consumption in Ayurveda has been labeled as different because of the basic nature that the chemistry that we read, the techniques that we read, the time that we refer to have all been very, very long. It's more than 3000 years ago when those techniques were used. With time, have they evolved? Yes. With time, has there been a change in the processes? Yes, because of industrialization, even the pace of those processes has changed. However, a difference of opinion exists because of a certain section which commands its authority in terms of being traditionalists. Traditionalists are also a part of the modern medicine system, and they have their own reservations against a lot many present day practices of modern medicine. So, those conflicts exist in each and every system. Now, more specifically, as to the duration of these heavy metals, neither does Ayurveda say that they should remain perpetual, nor does allopathy or modern medicine say these should remain perpetual. The assumption or the propagation that Ayurveda is harmless or has no side effects is one thing that has somehow been the undoing for the simple reason it has played with people's emotions rather than the actuals of science. The category where most metals are used in Ayurveda is Ras Rasayan, and they all have been defined to be used for a short duration over a short period in a very, very specific manner and role, leaving the rest to the physician's discretion. Much the same as in modern medicine, the use of a certain multivitamin supplement or a specific metallic supplement remains a discretion of the physician as to how long it can be taken and its method of uptake. There's no difference between the two except the description, the mode, and those of who go on to oppose Ayurveda, they forget that they are opposing it on the basis of something that is written in a classical piece of literature which refers to anything which goes way beyond times that even the present teachers have any coherence or corrigibility about, because their understanding of that basic script is not the same as is when it was written and used. Present day Sanskrit is way far behind than anything that has been written in Ayurvedic texts and is being taught. Fact is, quality of inference of literature has been very, very limited, and that is an acknowledgement I can say. But to label Ayurvedic medicines or Ayurvedic practices as quackery is just mere assumption or an outreach on a system without proper learning of it. Education is a very big word. Literacy is too small a word. A medium term word is learning. And without learning of the system, it is really, really improbable and improper that a person should come forward to say that Ayurvedic medicines are this and that and the practitioners are quacks or anything else. Just to put into perspective, this is high school physics and chemistry, that an addition of a cation is hyperacidity and an addition of an anion is hyperalkalinity, and a small ion replaces a bigger ion or a bigger ion replaces a small ion depending upon the adjuvant coefficient of an alkali or alkaline substrate available in case of a cation. So, when we consume heavy metals, they often go into the oxidation reduction pathway and they do the reduction part or play a catalyst in the reduction part of the oxidation pathway to help maintain the pH as slightly alkaline. Hyperalkalinity, that is overconsumption, will cause injuries that are more severe. Even in Ayurvedic context, it has been labeled as Kshari injuries, Kshar enabled injuries, and they are definitely, definitely much stronger than acidic injuries. The acidic injuries are slow to develop, they develop over a period of time, and their impacts and effects are over a period of time. The hyperalkaline or alkaline injuries have a shorter duration to develop and the severity is much, much higher. So it is true, abuse of metals in any form, be it as multivitamins, vitamins, substrates, or as Ayurvedic compositions, can be harmful, really with deleterious effects, and none to say that it cannot be. The measure of it is only based on how the body reflects. It can cause autoimmunity, it can cause anaphylactic shocks, it can cause DNA and RNA mutations. Yes, those things were not written in the Ayurvedic text, and they could not be because 3000 years ago you would not know about the DNA in the present form. Even if you find a postulate that which says something similar to it, it was not the DNA and RNA that we talk about today. This is just one element, one property which says why determination of Prakriti, which is dynamic, and this is the reason why it is dynamic, is essential when it comes to Ayurvedic diagnostics. Prakriti is not static, it keeps changing because of what you consume, changing because of many other factors that I'm not talking about here. But your consumption definitely changes the pH of the body, and that pH automatically changes the transitions, your metabolics, your behavior, your genetic influences, and everything put together, how your body reacts to various stimuli. And the other person, has a different reaction to the same thing. Thus, and therefore, let us concentrate as Ayurvedic students, as practitioners, to first correct ourselves in our understanding of Prakriti, and then go about talking ill, evil, ugly of any other system. Because in my 20 years of practice, honestly, and this is not being emphatic or boastful of anything, but I have found very few people, a few, number that I can actually count on my fingers, who would come down to agree and say that yes, Prakriti is dynamic. It has a mathematical perspective to it and not static as determined at the time of birth. Thank you.